It's a critical time for the country as President Trump signals an escalation in the war with Iran. And concerns about safety are growing here at home, particularly with the government still in a partial shutdown. This week, a Republican-led bill to fund the Department of Homeland Security failed to advance in the Senate, and negotiations appear to be stalled. Not to mention, the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, was just ousted by Trump. Now, all eyes are on Congress, which has an important role to play in all of this. Joining us now, Maryland Senator Angela Alsobrooks. Senator Alsobrooks, welcome back to the weekend. So, where are things? And again, just to remind the American people, we're in a partial government shutdown. The Department of Homeland Security has no money. So where are the negotiations to reopen the agency?
Well, I mean, you know, what we know is that this agency is one that oversaw the killing of American citizens in our streets as a result of the lack of policies there that mirror national law enforcement standards. This is an agency that is rogue, that has no standards. I think all of law enforcement ought to be offended by the fact that they are running these streets, masked, killing people without body-worn cameras, without judicial warrants, without all of the other protections that Americans now know we need if we're going to unleash these people in our community. And they have been superfunded to the tune of $75 billion. And so ICE has the funding that it needs to continue these operations. And so we need policies in place. We need some structure that would protect the American people against ICE.
We had Congresswoman Ross on in the 7 o'clock hour, and one of the things she said that she wanted guardrails on federal agents. Is that part of what Democrats are demanding? Like, we will not vote to reopen DHS unless...
Not another penny. Not another penny to fund these goons who are running around the streets, again, with masks on, executing essentially Americans in broad daylight without any standards. Again, no body-worn camera, no identification, no judicial warrants. This is unconscionable and should not be funded with another penny.
All those things you list don't just protect the citizens and the people that are on the streets. It also protects the officers themselves from any kind of litigation. But moving on, DHS, obviously, the secretary was ousted, Kristi Noem. Markwayne Mullin, your colleague in the Senate, is the nominee. He's probably as hardline as she is, maybe even further to the right on immigration. So no one, I think, is anticipating a policy change here. Yeah. Senators usually get kind of deference when they come across and they're nominated, right? 99 of the Senate voted for Marco Rubio, for example, for Secretary of State. Is this a fight on day one? Are you guys going to use it as leverage in the DHS funding fight?
Well, you know what? I mean, and the truth of it is that he is inexperienced and as unqualified as Kristi Noem. So we will get a result that is probably worse even than Kristi Noem. And as you have mentioned, it's not just the personnel, it's the policies of this agency that are of concern. And again, so replacing one unqualified person with another is one big mistake. And then to add to that we haven't changed the policies or direction of this agency yet is even more problematic. And again, I remind you, the people who are dying and who are suffering are not at all who this administration said we would be removing. We are now seeing the execution of Americans by this agency. And so you're right. I mean, what do we do here? Kristi Noem was horrible, and I believe that replacing her doesn't make any difference.
Are you a no on Markwayne Mullin's
nomination? Absolutely. I'm an absolute no.
I need to get it out.
Another vote that failed this week was obviously the War Powers Resolution. There was some chatter in the House of potentially introducing an alternative resolution to revisit this in 30 days and take stock of where we are and force a vote on it yet again. Is that something that the upper chamber is also considering and in favor of? What are next steps here to rein in Trump?
Well, I voted yes on that War Powers Resolution. I mean, it is very sad to see a president who admitted essentially that this war was initiated based on a vibe that he had. And this vibe has turned out to be so costly for the American people. And the people who will bear the cost of this war are working class people who will continue to suffer economically. When we think about the cost of groceries and housing and energy and gas, the people who are making these decisions don't care. They don't care about the cost of gas. And our military, our sons and daughters who will bear the cost of this with their lives are generally working class people. So the working class families of America will bear the cost of this costly, unjustified war that was initiated, again, based on a vibe, is what the president basically communicated.
It's a good reminder. We can't forget about the young men and women who are going to be inevitably dragged into this.